Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 40 of Putty's podcast. I am your host at Michael J. Putty. 40 episodes. That's nuts. I went back to see what date the first episode was, and it was October 4th, 2025. I went back a little further and found out the last episode of A Shot of Wrestling was 1 year prior, October 3rd, 2024. Did not know that at the time. But for some reason today, I looked back to see what the dates were, and wow, exactly 1 year in between shows. That's crazy. Shot of Wrestling came to an end. My co host, Marcus Davenport Schwann III, had other opportunities he wanted to take. I was in a relationship, so I just never got back into it. I didn't want to hound people to guest host. So A Shot of Wrestling quietly came to an end on October 3rd, 2024. Episode 366, only 326 episodes away to match that. So I came back to this because I was sitting on my couch, heartbroken, sad, lonely, and I missed this outlet, this sandbox I can step on, this void I can just talk to let my feelings, thoughts, emotions out. The original Putty's podcast was back in 2015 when the Slim Sheffrey Experience, my first podcast, came to an end when my co hosts welcomed their second child. The first incarnation did not last as long. So I think this is the longest Putty's podcast series of the two. And since I started, this episode has been marked on the calendar. This is the episode I was looking forward to or dreading or a combination of both. Most of you will be listening to this on July 27th. July 27th will mark 1 year as a single man. I can't believe it's been a year. It both feels like it flew by and also feels like it's been much longer at the same time, if that makes sense. I have lived a lifetime in the past 12 months. I have said that relationship changed me for the better. The man I was after it was way better than the guy I was before. Before that relationship, had a very negative view on relationships. Just wanted to be alone. Didn't want to be bothered. I knew anytime I dipped my toe in the dating pool, I ended up getting hurt. They kept the dating apps open. You never know what could fall in your lap. And this fell into my lap. But yeah, I think I'm a different person than I was 12 months ago. It's weird. I don't think anything really has changed in my life, but at the same time, a lot of things have changed. I mean, that's the whole point of time, right? To better yourself. So check back with me in 12 months because I wonder how different I'll be then as compared to who I am now. And again, hopefully for the better. Hopefully I'm rocking guitar. Hopefully I'm killing painting as a hobby. Hope to have a big, beautiful, confident smile. Hopefully lose a couple LBs. Yeah, 12 months. That's fucking nuts. And when it happened, you think of these milestones, that ride I've been sharing with you for the last 12 months. And I remember putting in my phone, asking Siri, I should say, to remind me on July 27th, 2026, that it's been a year. Like I fucking needed a reminder. And you told me back then, all the shit I've gone through in the past 12 months, I wouldn't believe you. Getting ready for the show this week, I found it kind of funny how when this show first started, she was all I talked about. So I couldn't envision what I would be talking about a year later. And I was going to have this big walk down memory lane. Now I'm tired of talking about it. Like I still think about her a lot. Still hope nothing but the best for her. Still not a bad word to say about her. But the amount of space she is occupying in my head needs to downsize soon or start paying some fucking rent. So I don't even want to spend the whole episode talking about it because I think I've beaten that horse to death. And that's something I never thought I would say. But congratulations to me on surviving something you didn't think you would 12 months ago. Here's to bigger and better things. Can't wait for July 23rd, 2027 episode of Putty's Podcast to see where I am then. But how about we move on in more ways than one? Last week, about a third of the show had to get cut. Ever since I got this new laptop, I've been having nothing but headaches when it comes to recording episodes. Not a lot of it I could cut out. Most of it I can. So you might have heard some choppiness or me cutting out in the middle of a word or me sounding like I'm underwater sometimes. And I have no clue what that is. And it's really annoying, especially last week, because there was so much of it I could not keep in. So I needed to reach out for some help. I reached out to the gentleman who helped me at my home studio assessments for that voice acting I tried to do, which for some reason I keep forgetting about. I need to get back on that horse. Now I think I have a better handle on the audio when it comes to the background noise of my noisy, annoying upstairs neighbors. I reached out to him and put together a 20-second clip of all the errors that I had to cut out. I didn't think I would hear back from him, and I have not. I didn't even ask for like just his help. I'm like any advice or point me in the right direction. Nothing. Sucks. Went to the Google, found a couple of things that did not match exactly my criteria, but I made some adjustments and we'll see how it goes. I've been testing it out, and so far so good. It's been really annoying. It's a brand new laptop. I should not have any issues with it, but here we are. One of the things I had to edit out of last week's episode because it was just inaudible. Last week, I was talking about my mother preparing for her surgery. Well, she's done it. This past Monday, she successfully went for a knee replacement, a surgery she's been putting off for over 10 years. Thankfully, my aunt came in to spend some time with her, help her out through the process. They told her she was going home that day. Of course, everything got pushed back, so they kept her overnight. They're going to release her the next morning. To her credit, she fought. She is now in a rehab center because she has a huge flight of stairs to climb. That's very hard to do when you just got a fucking knee replaced. But she's in good spirits. She's in a lot of pain, but she knows that will eventually go away. She was told it'll take about 2 weeks to heal from the surgery and about 1 year to fully heal. So her knee was taken out and replaced by a piece of metal or plastic, and they want you to start walking around right away. I don't know how they expect you to do it, but people do it. Do not know how. She's having trouble, but she's on the road to recovery, so I'll keep you updated when she gets home. But last time she was in the rehab center for around 3 months, that's when I tried my hand at cooking, tried to update my resume for the dating world, because women love a man who can cook. So I might have to revisit that, find some new recipes to add to said resume. In other news, last week I told you the story about me trying to get my phone fixed. I shattered the screen. I went to a place. They repaired the screen. There was a lot of things wrong with the phone. They gave me two options. I took the full refund, but they put my old screen back on. And it looked like my old screen, but it had a lot more cracks on it. I guess when they took it off or put it back on, more cracks have formed because that looked a little ridiculous. And all the swiping or playing on my phone, my fingers started getting a little prickly, started getting a little more sensitive. It was fucking annoying. I told my therapist this story, and he mentioned, why didn't I go through insurance? I honestly did not think I had insurance on this phone. Several years ago, I was coming back from birthday party. I was half asleep, half drunk, and I get out of the cab. And before I got out of the cab, I make sure I have everything. But I made sure I had everything after I closed the door so the cab sped away. I had left my phone in the cab. I ran after it, took a hard fall. Of course, that sobers you up right quick. Finally got like a couple hours of sleep, and I wake up. My knees all scraped up, bruised, my palm and one of my hands the same, blood everywhere. Look in the mirror. I have a scrape on my forehead. Apparently, I had hit my head. I remember falling, do not remember hitting my head. So I go to a walk in clinic. They said since there was alcohol in my system and a scrape on my head, there's nothing they could do for me. I have to go to the hospital right away. So when I hear right away, I hear, go to T Mobile first. See if you can track your phone or get a replacement. So I walk into T Mobile with this very clear, visible bloody scrape on my wrist and my forehead. They want to charge me like 300, almost $400 to get a replacement phone. It's an old ass phone. There have been many other generations of iPhones since. Why am I paying this price if I'm paying for insurance anyway? So I believed in that moment I gave up on insurance. But I did have insurance, turns out, $50 deductible, and I got a phone. Not a new phone, allegedly, a refurbished phone, but it's better than that other debacle I was dealing with. I go to pick up this box at the same place that repaired my phone. The gentleman who attempted for several days to fix my phone asked me how my phone was, and I said worse, because a fact I just realized I had left out. Someday last week, I come home from work, I casually toss my phone onto the couch as I'm getting changed. I don't think it hit anything. I didn't hear any sounds, but I just saw a bright white light. Pick up my phone. There are huge two vertical white stripes on my phone screen. And that's what made me try to check insurance because I can't live with this. 1/5 of my screen is hidden. So far, so good with this phone. I immediately put a screen protector on it. Again, be careful with your phones. And if you want to get one repaired, make sure it's an authorized Apple store or Apple retailer. Don't go to your local repair shop because it might not work out well for you. The gentleman asked me how the phone was. I told him worse. I showed him those white stripes. And he goes, I was just thinking about you. The other day, the vendor that we use for products updated their supply. Of course they did. Of course they updated their supply a week after you botched my phone. Thank you, sir. Take care, comb your hair. Let's move on to some heartwarming stories. There's a video that went viral of firefighters extinguishing a vehicle fire. I think it was Oakland. And when it was done, a pigeon walked up to them and they could tell it was having trouble breathing. They believed it was suffering from smoke inhalation. These firefighters, or this firefighter, put a small oxygen mask in its face. The pigeon hung out there for a couple minutes and then flew away. Props to the firefighters for realizing the animal was in distress, and props to them for thinking of giving it oxygen. And yeah, it's a if you want a good fuzzy feeling, it's all over the internet. Check it out if you have not seen it by now. And speaking of saving animals, after spending nearly 2 years trapped in Marineland, a shuttered Canadian theme park, 30 beluga whales are finally getting a second chance as they're being relocated to facilities in the United States and in Spain in one of the largest marine mammal rescue efforts in recent years. These whales remained shuttered in this closed down park because of legal and international permit issues. And at one point, the struggling park warned these innocent animals could face euthanasia if a solution wasn't found. 28 whales, four of which, by this recording, have already arrived in Chicago, will be moved to aquariums in the United States. Two will go to Spain. Veterinarians will oversee the complex process. Chicago affiliate cover the transfer, and you see how complex this is to see these aquatic animals being moved from Canada to Chicago. God bless those heroes. Imagine waiting 2 years floating around in an abandoned park. I assume people were still going there to feed them and clean them, maintain their pool. But goddamn, and I just love stories like this because there's so much negativity out there. 30 whales finally getting a fresh start is a reminder sometimes, after a long wait, things can really work out. How apropos. The other night, I got sucked into a Instagram vortex of emotional reels, and I saved a shit ton of them. Like, oh, I'll talk about them on the show. Way too many to talk about on the show. I'm going to mention four real quick. Sometimes I wish you could have seen what happened after you left. Not to make you feel guilty, just so you could understand. Another one. There's a phone number on my phone I will never delete, even though I know it will never ring again. And this is the one that kind of snaps you out. Bro, you're crying over a woman who never had a man better than you. Let that sink in. Move on. So, of course, with this date approaching, I was talking about it with my AI app that I've been healing with. And every day they sent you a letter based on a topic. And a topic on one day I picked was July 27th. And they wrote this. As the 27th comes, try this. Instead of asking whether you moved on, ask what you did this year that the guy from 12 months ago could not have done. Boom. So, how do you end this show? A show I've been counting down towards since I've started this in October. Because this is it. From going forward, there's no more a year ago I was doing this, a year ago I was doing that. It'll be 2 years ago. And do I want to be that guy who's been, oh, 2 years ago I did this? I do not. There will be times I will. But going forward, hopefully, this will be the last time this subject's breached on this podcast. And back in November, I played a song which coincided with my father's birthday. Because a segment I kind of wanted to do going forward was play songs that meant something or lyrics that meant something to me. I came with that idea after listening to After You by Daughtry from Leave This Town, released in 2009. And it was a lyric that hit me years ago. When I first heard it, I was like, oh shit, that's a fucking deep ass lyric. And it's a simple one. It's hard to believe that a man with sight could be so blind. Thinking about the better times must have been out of my mind. That kind of hit home back then. Now, yeah, how could I be so blind to miss all these warning signs? So that was going to be my first song I wanted to play. But I played a song for my father instead. So let me save it for the 1 year anniversary of being single. Then there was another Daughtry song from the same album, Leave This Town, 2009, called No Surprise. And that one kind of hit before this, and now it hits differently now in a different way because this song is about two people who are in a toxic relationship, mutually agreeing to part ways. The kiss goodnight, it comes with me. Both wrong and right are memories. The whispering before we sleep. It's just one more thing that you can't keep. Our favorite place we used to go. The warm embrace that no one knows. That loving look that's left your eyes. But I know in time, this will come as no surprise. And that kind of hit home because it hits on things I do miss. The pillow talk, whispering before we fall asleep, the kisses goodnight, that warm embrace when I see her for the first time, that loving look that was in her eyes, that no longer was there, going back to that, how could a man with a sight be so blind? So which one do I play? There's an obvious one, which I did not want to play because it's too obvious. I could do a whole episode talking about Daughtry songs and Daughtry lyrics. Daughtry is awesome. Same thing with Hinder. Hinder has a lot of good songs I could talk about a lot with. And Daughtry and Hinder, for a while there, were the only bands on my iPod, I believe at the time, that I bought all their albums. Whenever an album came out, those were the two bands I bought. So for a country guy like me, my favorite two bands were three: Hinder, Daughtry, and Three Doors Down. Well, one of their biggest hits is a song I have equated to Heartbreak and played it numerous times back in 2011 when I went through it again. One of the songs I clearly avoided this time around, Over You, which was officially released to digital retailers and radio stations on July 24th, 2007. Again, another happy accident, being that I'm recording this on July 24th, 2026, 19 years later. It was the third mainstream single from their self-titled debut album, which originally dropped on November 21st, 2006. And I didn't want to bring it up. I did not want to play it because it's so cliche. But when you Google the meaning, I had no other option. According to Google, it's a raw, emotional breakup anthem about the agonizing process of healing from an ending a relationship. It captures the journey from betrayal and heartbreak to eventual empowerment, ultimately celebrating the moment you finally find closure and move on. Daughtry himself explained that the track represents the dark, brutal difficulties of getting over someone you plan to spend the rest of your life with until one day you wake up and finally succeed. Man, Daughtry's awesome. I think he's coming here to the tri-state area later this year. Definitely want to get tickets. It's been way too long. Just a couple of weeks ago, he released an album, There and Back Again, an album of one of his greatest hits that he re recorded. Check it out. So that's it for me this week, folks. My drink is empty. Thank you for listening. Please follow me on social media at Putty's Podcast on Instagram and TikTok, at Michael J. Putty on Instagram. Get involved in the conversation. Dial it up, 917-7182-MJP. If you don't like leaving voicemails, which I don't like doing, so I don't blame you, Putty's Podcast at gmail.com. And thank you for going on this journey with me for the last 40 episodes of healing. Let's see what the next 40 entail. So for now, I have been your host at Michael J. Putty. Until next week, Putty out.
And I never thought I'd doubt you. I'm better off without you.